I think that we should stick with the proposal made by the Conference of Presidents and therefore reject the motion from the EPP group.
Thank you, Mrs. Harms. I now put the EPP group's request to the vote. Those in favour, please. Those in favour of the vote taking place at this part session. Thank you. Those against, please. Thank you. I'd like to check that electronically so as to be sure. The vote is open.
Czy już wszyscy zagłosowali?
Has everyone cast their vote?
If you don't have your... Zamykam głosowanie.
The vote is closed.
Proszę Państwa,
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 131 votes in favour, 95 against. That is carried. We shall vote, therefore, this week on Thursday.
termin na...
Ladies and gentlemen, the deadline for tabling motions for resolutions is 10 o'clock on Tuesday, 13th of September. The deadline for tabling amendments and joint motions for resolution is 10 o'clock on Wednesday, 14th of September, and the deadline for tabling amendments to joint motions for resolution is 11 o'clock on Wednesday, 14th of September. So that's two deadlines, both on Wednesday. The first deadline is 10 o'clock on Wednesday. That's the deadline for joint motions for resolution. And then 11 o'clock, the deadline for tabling amendments to joint motions for resolution. Please respect those deadlines. Thank you.
Przechodzimy do następnego punktu.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next...
Ask you not to leave the chamber. Please stay for next few minutes. Pierwszym punktem porządku...
The first item on the order paper is a statement by the President on the 10th anniversary of the 11th of September 2001. 10 years ago, on the 11th of September, 3,000 people died at the hands of terrorists, including mothers, wives, children who were killed by terrorists who flew aeroplanes into the World Trade Center. They killed Americans and Europeans alike. Back then, we were all Americans. People from 70 countries in the world lost their lives. However, the terrorists did not win. The democratic world would not be intimidated. Terrorism had reached our cities and homes. New York, Madrid, London, Bali became targets. The war on terrorism is still on. However, slowly we're winning the war. We shall only succeed, though, when we succeed in changing the thinking of people who have no respect for their own lives, let alone for those of their victims. People have a right to live their lives without fear. We must not allow terrorism to become the new totalitarianism of the 21st century. We must deliver to future generations a Europe and a world in security and peace. There is no room for terrorism and oppression in the democratic world. There are democratic movements now in North Africa and the Middle East who share our own values. There has been a sea change over the last 10 years, and that is a success of us all, Europeans and those around the world who share the same values in the fight for freedom. Today, the European Parliament commemorates the events of 11th of September and pays tribute to the hundreds of fire service and other emergency personnel who lost their lives on that day. I'd like to invite you to stand for a minute's silence for victims of terrorism around the world.
Kolejnym punktem porządku dziennego
The next item is Commission statement on ongoing Doha negotiations.
Komisji.
On behalf of the European Commission,
W imieniu Komisji głos
on behalf of the European Commission, we have Commissioner Karel de Gucht.
Commissioner. The floor is yours, Mr. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for giving us the occasion to make a declaration on the state of play of the multilateral trade negotiations. Allow me first to briefly recall the present state of the Doha Development Agenda negotiations within the World Trade Organization. As you know, the negotiations were revitalized in